Warning. If you ride this ride, you might get wet. Warning. You might laugh so hard your cheeks will sweat. With Ben and Skin, homegrown homeboys from Richardson, they're gonna soak ya. Woo! Rub-a-dub-dub, it's the Super Soaker.
Here are your hosts for the Super Soaker, Ben and Skin. Ooh, soaked.
Yes. Hello and welcome, everybody. 'Tis the Super Soaker. I'm Ben Rogers. He's Jeff Skin Wade, and he is ready for Winter Wonderland. What's going on with your toboggan?
I'm ready for the NBA, bro.
Okay.
See that trophy?
All right.
That's the Emirates Cup, the in-season tournament. And, you know, even though there's a preseason game tonight and two more after that, I'm already thinking about the in-season tournament, and I'm getting geared up for that.
Okay.
Plus I think I'm sick, so I'm covering my ears. Can you
got
hear
a
it in my
lot.
voice?
You got a lot going on, man.
Yeah.
You need a nap every once in a while.
I'm going to take one right now.
You are? Okay.
No, not right now. Hey, what do you do during the countdown?
I dance. I mean, that's like the dumbest question I've ever heard. What are you talking? Don't you dance?
No, I kind of shake ass a little bit in my chair.
Okay. Yeah.
But I focus on a different thing happening lyrically every time, and then I start obsessing over it.
Yeah.
And the one that got me today that I hadn't spent a lot of time considering is that early on, with about 4 minutes to go, he's suggesting that you could get some bacon and eggs. But then with 1:35 to go, he's stressing that there's not enough time to make popcorn. So
I did notice him say, typically it takes about 2 minutes and 35 seconds.
it's so great. And then in the middle of it, he's like, some people use vanilla when he's talking about coffee.
Yeah.
So there's always something in there that I'll hear, and I've heard it before several times, but I'll hear it and then I'll start really thinking about it. And I'm like, and then with, I don't know, about a minute to go, he's like, okay, you really need to get it together. But with 4 minutes to go, we can consider making bacon and eggs. I love stuff like that.
I think this is one of the greatest shows on the internet.
It's incredible.
I love it. Where are all of our awards? And you know, I think it's really special. What are you looking at? What do you
I was
got?
pointing to some awards over there.
Oh yeah, you're right. There you go. Those are your awards.
They're ours.
Those are sports Emmys, right? What do you got?
Those are fake Grammys. I
Okay,
made some for myself
good,
to make myself feel better about music.
Good. We will talk about music in this one. You've got a lot going on in the music world. We are going to do a scroll patrol, which, man, I'm really excited about showing you the way I use the internet this week. We got a news bender with Side Boob Steve. We're going to talk about the Menendez brothers. There are two Netflix Menendez projects that are currently operational. One of them is called Monsters, the Lyle and Eric Menendez story. The other one is a documentary called The Menendez Brothers. And so we'll talk about that. We're going to talk a little Dallas Cowboys football. We typically do. Maybe we'll get into Mavs. Don't know if we'll have time. Yeah, but I think I'm going to shock you with this, or maybe not.
Oh, an early morning shocker. I'm interested.
The Cowboys play the Lions. The Lions are generally thought of as being the best team in the NFC, or arguably they're in the mix.
I think they are.
I'm predicting a Dallas Cowboys victory.
I can be talked into that. The floor is yours.
So if you think about the NFL, it's so unbelievably, ridiculously stupid. Like, coaches don't know how to manage clocks, and they get huge, high-paying jobs, and that whole cliche, any given Sunday, it's like the reality is there is so much parity here.
Right.
And I don't even want to predict it anymore. Like, I feel like the Cowboys are flirting with a top 10 pick and, advancing in the postseason. I don't know. I do know this. I was watching Chase Daniel. Do you remember him? Was he a Missouri quarterback?
Yeah, I think he was the Southlake guy, wasn't he?
Was he?
I believe so. He was a Missouri quarterback, though, to answer your question.
So he was breaking down film, which I don't do. I don't look at film, but he was showing the all 22 and looking at film and stuff like that. And so when those guys do, Baldinger or any of those guys do it, or
I
of
love
course
Baldy. Baldy's great.
he's great. Or Broadus, or people that really, Kavanaugh, people that really break down film and those types of things. I pay attention. I don't pretend to be that. I have seen people in media pretend to be that.
Oh, yeah.
You remember?
Oh, I remember well.
I was looking at the film,
Yeah.
and it's like, dude, what were you doing? Because
I also do things on the internet. Badass.
And anyways, Chase Daniel was breaking this down, and some of the throws Dak made were phenomenal, just phenomenal. And
Right.
I think I don't know what to make of the offense on why it's so stagnant. Maybe it's because they don't have much of a run game, and maybe they got the run game going this week, so it opened it up. They really ran into red zone problems, but I have immense confidence in Dak Prescott, and what he did on that final drive was so meaningful. Like, that's it. Your nuts are on the line. Complete it and you win. Don't complete it and you lose. I believe in him, but I'm betting on the absolute absurdity of the product. And just when you think you know what the NFL is going to do, and you're in your submarine and you're following the NFL submarine, they do a crazy Ivan just to make sure that you can't predict exactly what they're going to do. And this week, it's going to be the Cowboys with the crazy Ivan. They're going to win this game. They're going to get and I was also looking at Ceedee's numbers last year. Ceedee had like an early 100-yard game, like week 2, and then some real pedestrian efforts. And then right around week 6 or 7, maybe it was 7, is when he totally caught fire. And you started seeing, I don't know, 10, 12, 14 targets, and it was over 150 yards in multiple games. And I think we're about to get into that range. And so I predict the Dallas Cowboys beat the Lions. Write it down. Remember this. I'm going to be vindicated. Cowboys win on Sunday.
What do you think the spread is right now, if you were to guess?
I bet it would support my case here that you can't predict the NFL. And Vegas is like, okay, so the Cowboys are home. So typically that's 3 points, right? Or is it 2.5?
That's what they say. They say 3.
Okay, so if the Cowboys are at home, you would say that they're 3-point favorites, and then you would go, oh, wait, the Lions are better. Let's go ahead and make the Lions 2.5-point favorites. I bet that's what it is.
Lions are, last I saw, they're 3 points favorites. That's what I was just looking up there.
Okay.
And then maybe we'll see some other action that'll move the line. Who knows? I would think people would put money on the Lions to cover, which will start, making the line go back in the other direction. But no, I mean, it wouldn't shock me if the Cowboys beat the Lions. They just got to go score a bunch of points, because not only will the Lions score a bunch of points, the Lions, remember, are going to be pissed off about how that game ended last year. I've already seen people talking about it. They're going to go for it on 4th down every single time. So that defense that has all those injuries, which, by the way, KT randomly said on our show yesterday, Deron Bland, don't come back. Like, dude, just wait. You're about to have a bye week. Just everybody try to get as healthy as you can, because I think we play the Niners on the other side of the bye week, which maybe I agree with that. I don't know that bringing Deron Bland back suddenly slows down the Lions offense that is like really prolific. But you're going to have to score a ton of points. And you're talking about that Chase Daniel breakdown. Dak is going to have to be great. That takeoff you're talking about, that was all like, remember last year when Ceedee was bitching and Mike McCarthy and Dak were having to answer questions about it. And then Dak went to Ceedee, and then suddenly they got on the same page. And now Ceedee's is paid as he is. They do need to figure some things out to get the offense going. The defense is not going to be great. That was a really good Pittsburgh defense that they scored 20 on the road, and they should have scored more. They had multiple turnovers, inside scoring range. They had a blocked field goal. That game shouldn't have been close. So I like your prediction. I stand with Ben. Unless the Cowboys lose, I'm like, what are you thinking? The Lions are so much better than the Cowboys. Burn the tape. I want to read you a story, though, and maybe you've heard this.
Okay.
This is my favorite story. Did you hear a Zack Martin special teams story from the last game?
I did not.
Okay, I'm going to read this to you. I'm not going to read the whole thing, but I'm going to read. This is Bones talking, okay? Their special teams coach. Zach was standing right by me, and he taps me, and he goes, "Hey, Terrence is cramping. I'm going to go get him. I'm going to go get him." I'm like, okay. And he was already running out there. What a credit to Zack Martin, seriously, to take it upon himself, who was also cramping, to notice his teammate was hurting. So he ran in there at a position he hasn't been on in field goal protection before and subbed Terrence out on his own. What a fantastic veteran man to do that. So they were listing snap counts in the Athletic, and it said special teams, Zack Martin, 1. And I thought you would really dig that story. I think that's pretty fun.
Yes, dude. That is awesome. That shows leadership, obviously, but it also shows, we learned a lot about the offensive line because Travis Frederick is a good friend, and Zach and Tyron and talking to those guys, but mostly Travis. And, they paint this picture of it being a really tightly knit group. Like they're all in lockstep together. They're with each other all the time. And so that's a testament to that he could look out there, see Terrence struggling, and go out there and get his brother, pick him up and get his back. That was badass. I had not heard that story. It doesn't surprise me, but I think of going out there and playing a position he hasn't played. I think about Tyler Smith in that game too, just popping out to left tackle. Oh, yeah. I got it. Oh, there's Guyton's injured. No problem. I'll go out to left tackle, and then was pretty dominant there as well. And is that what led to Brock Hoffman coming in?
Maybe.
Or was that TJ Bass?
I thought TJ Bass came in. I think Brock Hoffman came in when Zach was cramping, I think.
Okay.
But
So
I'm not 100% sure.
When we were at Cosm and you could see the whole sideline, is TJ Bass the one you were saying he was whipping everyone's ass?
And he was whipping Brock Hoffman's ass and vice versa.
How can it be vice versa? How can it be both getting whipped?
Because one guy was like, I want out of this conversation, but that's my teammate. And they were both simultaneously thinking that. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It was Spider-Man memes. Like, you're whipping my ass. No, you're whipping my ass. But also, that conversation you're talking about that we saw at Cosm that felt like it was in our laps. Mm-hmm. Because the camera, the screen is so huge and it's that 8K and you see everything. And we could read Brock Hoffman's lips. That also underscores how amazing it was that Zach, who wasn't on the field and wasn't going to be on the field, was so dialed into what was happening in the game, he saw to run out there and help Terrence Steele, right?
Dude.
Because Brock Hoffman and TJ Bass don't give a shit. They're over there fiddle farting around.
Yeah. I'm always for Brock Hoffman getting into the game. You don't get to see Brock Hoffman very, very often, but he's got matching pads, as you pointed. Everybody's got matching pads.
Everybody had matching pads. Yeah, Brock Hoffman is the Fred Schneider of the Dallas Cowboys. Don't ever forget that.
Yeah. Question here from Enrique Lomelli. Did you ever mention that you were in the Your Dark Companion podcast? I did do that podcast. Skin, you've done that podcast. That was awesome. Loved catching up with Rhines and Groobs and their whole crew that they have over there. They got a bunch of talented people as a part of that. That was awesome. Very much enjoyed that. Just jumped on Michael Pasvar's podcast. And then you and I were also on the podcast. What is the podcast called? Is it Hope Ignited?
Hope. Yeah, Hope Ignite Hope.
Hope Ignited.
Yeah.
With the National Breast Cancer Foundation, which is located in Frisco. But yeah, we appear on that. Oh, what about this guy? Skin, he thinks he's sick.
Well, I think another guy asked, why does Skin sound like that? And I think CL Pilcher 86 jumped in and answered the question. Mm-hmm. I kind of like that aspect of the Super Soakers, just random side questions going on over to the side.
Yeah. And thank you guys for being here. Thank you for interacting. Thank you for commenting. We see all the comments, and we love making you a part of this. That's the reason it's a live stream. We could just record it and air it at any time, but it's live because it's interactive with you. And, dude, were you surprised? So we have this thing called the Complete Fun Package, and if somebody would put the link in here, that'd be great. We want you guys to sign up for it. I think there's like 600 people signed up for it right now, but there's a couple questions there before you start, and so we can learn from you answering those questions. You give us your email, you'll be entered to win some prizes. It's a pretty cool way for us to stay in touch. But like if you look at it, one of the questions was, when did you first get on board with the Ben and Skin Show? And the number one answer, it was actually a tie. It was between ESPN and The Fan. And then it was like, what do you listen to when you're not listening to Ben and Skin? And the ticket was like 8%, like less. And I just think it goes to show that what we've always known, that, you know, we do not share an audience with the ticket at all. I do think we share an audience with fan listeners, but I just don't think we share with the ticket really much at all.
Yeah, and by the way, congratulations to the ticket. Did you see they won the Marconi for not best sports station, #1 major market station in America?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Pretty
amazing.
incredible.
It's incredible. It's just been such a historic run, and all they do is dominate. But the best thing we ever did was leave there.
Yeah, it was great for us. We got to kind of forge our own identity, and you know, I think we've had an amazing amount of support from folks like you guys that take the time to listen to a stream and have followed us on a journey bouncing around from station to station. But we would never really have what we have now if we hadn't left the ticket in 2008. So yeah, that was a great decision for us. And thank you all very, very much for supporting the Ben and Skin Show the entire time.
Okay, so I want to switch gears to, do you have anything else you want to say about the Cowboys?
Nah, fuck them.
Okay, I want to switch gears to the Menendez brothers. And this ties into a lot of things that I'm interested in, you're interested in. I think our wives are interested in, a lot of people, because people are really into true crime. Is your wife into true crime?
Absolutely.
Right. So is mine. And I've heard comedians talk about this, and they're like, is it a bad sign that all of our wives and girlfriends are so into that? Like, are they planning a murder? Because they watch so much of it, they could get away with it. But the thing that's going viral right now, the big true crime thing that's taken over all of Netflix, is the Menendez brothers case. And I think it was 1989, the year that we graduated high school, that 2 rich kids in Beverly Hills murdered their parents. And all of this was happening, you know, in Beverly Hills. And then by the time it went to trial and everything, it was happening in conjunction with the OJ thing. And so OJ ties into this. But I am fascinated by this. Monsters came out about 3 weeks ago. And then earlier this week, an actual documentary came out called The Menendez Brothers. It's a 2-hour documentary. And I think Monsters was a 7-episode series about this. And it's like they took their own liberties. You know, it's actors and they're you know what I'm saying? How do I describe that?
Well, I think it's probably, since you brought up OJ, we had that OJ series where Ross from Friends said, juice, juice, juice. And then kind of simultaneously you had that multiple episode OJ series, that 30 for 30 thing. So it's like, you know, it's a recreation. It's not fictional. It's a true life narrative film depicting actual events.
Okay. So you don't have to have seen this to get involved in this conversation we're about to have, because I think there's a lot of different talking points, and I think you're going to enjoy this.
And also, dude, I remember a lot about the story from the time. I mean, there's a bunch of details I'm sure I missed, but it was a massive story. I mean, we were 18, 19 at the time. If you were old enough to, you know, be around then, you remember this. It was huge.
Yeah, and so the way these two things were produced, one is a 7-part series, I think 7, and it's meant to be entertaining, and they have their own case and their own vantage point, and they're trying to make it entertaining. The other one is a documentary, and it also is very much up to whoever made that documentary to paint their own brush. Could you just describe how that works in terms of, just because it's a documentary doesn't mean these are facts?
Yeah, I mean, there's always going to be there's always editorial decisions, always, based on like what you show, what you choose not to show. The best example I can give you, if you've ever seen the movie Hoop Dreams, one of the most lauded documentaries of all time. They follow these two kids through the Chicago high school system as they both want to be big-time college basketball players. And they show one kid gets effed over, and then they show the other kid get special treatment. And they never, hardly ever in this like 2.5-hour movie show them together, ever. And what you find out later is those guys spent just about every weekend together. And they didn't put it in the movie because it would change how you feel about the story. That's an editorial decision. That's a decision that was made to make you feel a certain way. So it's that, reality is what you make it kind of a thing. So even though it's a documentary and you're looking at actual footage, whoever is directing and editing that thing can steer it in a way to make you arrive at certain assumptions by not presenting all the facts.
Right. And there's a lot of that in both of these, in the documentary and in the show Monsters. And so it's muddy. But the reason this is now back in the news, it comes back to young people and TikTok and public opinion and the way the world has changed and the way people look at certain things, such as the way that nowadays, compared to 1989, the way that people or society looks at people who have been abused sexually.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And do they empathize or sympathize more now than they did then? And man, this thing is really complicated. But in a nutshell, Lyle and Eric Menendez, I think they were like 18 and 21, 22. Lyle is the one on the right here. He's the older one. And Eric is the one on the left. He's younger. And Lyle is wearing a wig there. We found out that Jose, the dad, wanted him to wear a wig, forced him to wear a wig because he was losing his hair. And so that was part of this.
That's so weird.
Right?
Yeah.
So he's got this crazy looking wig. But the story, that's Jose and Kitty, the father and mom there, husband and wife. And so these guys, in 1989, buy shotguns, go in and murder their parents while they're sitting in the living room watching TV. Mm-hmm. Okay. The police come, and it's Beverly Hills police, and so they're in no rush to assume that these rich kids did it. That would be unheard of. And so they didn't check their hands for gunpowder residue or anything, and the kids faked it like, hey, we just got home. They had an alibi. We just got home, and our parents are murdered. We think the mafia did it because our dad is a big music executive mogul, and he has interactions with dangerous people. We think he was being threatened by the mafia. We think the mafia did this. And so Beverly Hills police were like, okay, sounds good to us. Must have been the mafia. And so the parents were murdered in cold blood in their living room, and the boys were then immediately free. And it gets real complicated, but the idea is that one side believes that that the boys are cold-blooded killers, mm-hmm. that their dad was pissed at them because they were fuck-ups, and was going to leave them out of his will. And so they were not going to get this $14 million inheritance. So their motive would be, we have to kill him to get that inheritance. We're just dumb fuck kids. We got to murder him. Okay. But when it got into the first trial, there were two trials here, and I'll explain that. But there was two trials. In the first trial, their defense is, we were sexually molested our whole lives. We were abused, and our father told us that if we ever reported it, he would murder us. We believed him. Our mother was complicit in this. She knew about it, did nothing to stop it. And so we had to kill them because we thought they were going to kill us. And so it ultimately, the trial is not did they do it or did they not do it. They admitted to doing it. But is it manslaughter or is it first-degree murder? Is it victims who snapped and defended themselves because of all that trauma that they went through, which they would be guilty of manslaughter and they would do 15 years or something like that? Mm-hmm. Or is it first-degree murder where they deserve the death penalty or life in prison, which is what they got? Now, when you get to first of all, they're kids. They made a fuck ton of mistakes, no matter how you want to look at it. They talked too much. Now, that's their lawyer. I can't remember her name. I don't have it here in front of me.
I think her name is Mama Permhead.
She had a nice perm, but she had a case before their case where she got a guy, they found him innocent because she brought up how abused he was. And so at the crossroads of this story is the people who, some people think that the dad abusing them was totally made up by this attorney. They bought in, they faked it to look like victims. They were never abused. It's they said versus what in their parents can't defend themselves. They're dead. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. So one side says, okay, that's a fake defense to try to get off the trial, to try to be found innocent or just guilty of manslaughter at the trial. The other side is like, no, they were actual victims, which at the time wasn't a lot of sympathy for males who had been sexually molested. And so that's center and key to this the whole time as well. And so the other thing is, if you want to look at the other side, the people who are like, hey man, this was all to get the money. The kids went on a huge spending spree the minute their parents were dead.
That's not good for the defense.
Right. They were buying Porsches and Rolexes and shit like that. And so basically, the first trial, they go to trial, and it's a hung jury, well hung.
Okay.
But the men say all it was divided by sex. The women were like, looked at these kids from a motherly perspective, and were like, hey man, they were abused. It's clear that they were abused. Look at the way they're either the greatest actors on the planet or they were abused their whole lives and they snapped. The men were like, boys aren't abused, sexually abused. Like, what is that? That's not even a thing. That doesn't happen to men. And so that jury, they were out for a month and they could not agree. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
They could not agree. And so that was a hung jury, and it was a mistrial, and so they had to go to trial again. Now, at this time, O.J. Simpson is happening in roughly the same area. And so the second trial begins 1 week after O.J. was found not guilty.
Oh, yeah.
And so the idea is that, hey, man, everybody is screwed here because people are going to start being found guilty because the judicial system just lost a ton of credibility. This guy murdered 2 people and got off, right? So there's going to be hell to pay for everybody else, especially high-profile people. And the DA was trying to get reelected, and they had the egg on their face from OJ. And so the judge in the second trial was so focused on getting a conviction here that he totally stacked the deck. For whatever you want to say about these guys, he removed their whole defense. He was like, you are not allowed to admit into this court anything involving any abuse.
Wow. It wasn't Judge Lance Ito, was it?
No.
Hey, I'm sorry. Did they get into the fact that the dude kept wearing the toupee during the trial?
It's so weird.
I'm looking at that picture that Theory put up there, and I'm like, so why are you still wearing the wig?
Man, I think he wore it throughout prison for a long time. In the documentary, they catch up with him now, and he went with the just fully shaved bald head. But he wore that, I mean, for a long... And I didn't know you could do that in prison. If you wanted to wear a wig, you could just wear a wig.
Feels like you could hide contraband in that thing.
Yeah, that's a good point. And so right along these lines, or around this time, Oprah did this big special on sexual abuse of men. And she had every man in the audience who had been abused sexually as a child. And they held up a picture of themselves right around the age they were abused. And they say that public opinion started changing and started looking at things differently. And so suddenly, during the pandemic or something, the TikTok universe stumbled across this Menendez thing, and they started looking at it with fresh eyes, public opinion eyes. We're not talking about detectives and stuff, right?
Right.
And so public opinion is so different now because people are rightfully sympathetic towards people who are abused sexually. Yeah. And so there's this movement to get them a new trial because that judge totally screwed them over and wouldn't even let them defend themselves in the second trial. And so the jurors in that second trial were like, we don't have a choice. It's either they murdered him or they didn't. It's not manslaughter versus first-degree murder. It's just, did they murder him or not? And they've already admitted to murdering them. And they weren't allowed to defend themselves. And so that's why there's this movement. But they've been in prison this whole time. And I'm not here to tell you I sympathize with these guys or believe them. There's tons of shit on both sides. Mm-hmm. But that's where it is. And so I thought you'd be interested in the idea of public opinion then versus now, and do they deserve a new trial?
I mean, I think they deserve a new trial. Honestly, you know, I'm of the belief that if we are to believe in the system, prison is there to rehabilitate people. And so at this point, you're talking about they've been in prison for 30 years. So if they're, or in this case, 35 years, right?
Yeah.
So if we are to believe in what the prison system is supposed to do, then there should be a way to, you know, for the board to talk to these people and find out if they have, quote unquote, been rehabilitated. It's obviously complicated and messy. There's the prison system is so effed up in the first place. Like, people obviously should be punished for their crimes, but the idea of prison is to heal people, right? That's what it's supposed to be about. And the idea of forgiveness. Some people can't be rehabilitated. I do believe that, but there's several layers of that in place. And so I'm assuming they were sentenced to life without parole. Did they talk about that?
Yeah, it's life without parole.
I feel like that's something that, because the other thing is as we are seeing now on full display, is I think most people, no matter what their political belief, is sitting there going, wait a minute, we have all this safeguards in place so we don't have a monarchy, but somehow a Supreme Court justice is a supreme god that does whatever they want until they die? That doesn't make sense. And so I think people are now honestly thinking about, why aren't there term limits on a Supreme Court justice? There's nothing easier to compromise than a person that is completely protected by the law and can do whatever they want.
Right.
Like, that should change. Mm-hmm. Whether you're a Democrat or Republican or independent, that should change. That goes against the very fiber of what, you know, we have balance supposedly in our government. We have the judicial branch and we have the legislative branch and we have president. Like, aren't we supposed to have these checks and balances? But somehow the Supreme Court is completely unchecked. How does that make sense? So my whole point being is that a judge is one person that says, I think this should happen forever. That seems flawed to me. And so for these guys, and dude, maybe, Ben, I don't know, I haven't seen footage of them or anything. Maybe these guys are complete F-ups and they're deranged and they weren't abused and they can't be rehabilitated. I don't know any of that. I just do know that 35 years, including your entire, you know, young adulthood when you're figuring out who you are and all that stuff, that's a really long time. And so they should, at worst, have a chance for parole at this point in their life. That's right. What I think. Because one judge, I mean, think about how many district attorneys in the South, how many district attorneys put people of color in prison. And we later go back through the Innocence Project and find out they were innocent. Mm-hmm. Like, dude, judges aren't Christ figures. They're people.
Yeah.
Right? So I think, you know, when we look at these things, especially that are through the lens of popular culture, because we all, heck, even, you know, I'd have to go back and watch Cable Guy, but isn't Ben Stiller kind of one of the Menendez brothers in that?
Yeah. Yeah, and the public opinion turned on these guys after the first trial, and the more we learned about, they were young idiots and douchebags. And one guy was, you know, Lyle was talking to a reporter who was writing a book, and he thought they were in love, and she was just trying to write a book about him and all this shit. But the crux of the case comes down to, the boys say they were each molested from the age of 6 on, okay, and that their father said he would kill them if they ever told anyone.
Right.
And if that's the case, are they allowed to defend themselves? Is it okay, not okay like they're innocent, but is it just manslaughter that they snapped? They were victims.
Right.
And so since then, other information has come out. This guy, the dad, Jose, was a big deal at, I think, MCA Records. Is that what it's called? RCA.
That was a record label.
RCA, I think. RCA.
Okay.
And so he's the guy who found Menudo, or they were involved in finding Menudo. Well, I believe 2 of the members of Menudo have accused him of molesting them.
Oh, wow.
And so that's happened since this trial. And so now it's like, wait a second. If he is out there molesting other people, if it was true, then shouldn't that be allowed in the case?
Yeah.
And Lyle, the whole time he's in prison, has been counseling people about men that have been sexually abused. You're not going to do that for 35 years if you're full of shit, right?
Right. I would think so.
Anyways.
And so again, I don't know that they're going to be able to go back and prove any of that, but I would go back to the idea of why does one person get to decide lifetime in prison without parole? That just seems absurd to me. By the way, Sean Dodge brings up the great thing. I don't know if it's talked about in the series. Have you ever seen the Mark Jackson rookie card?
Yes.
Where the Menendez brothers are just sitting on the sideline over there. They got great seats.
Yes. They went on a spending spree, and they maintained that they did it because they were grieving. Whatever. I do know the most shocking thing of all of this, and this is true. It's it's been verified that at the funeral for their parents, Lyle Menendez insisted on playing a Milli Vanilli song, "Girl, It's Over" or something. I'm gonna miss you. Mm-hmm. That is the strangest shit ever.
Also, it's a terrible song.
It's a terrible song.
Yeah, it's a terrible song.
80s.
Yeah, it is so 80s, early 90s. By the way, I'm going to do a documentary on I don't think people should be named Kitty.
Yeah.
That's a really, really tough thing.
Hey,
so
now,
how did you leave watching the documentary as well as the narrative series? How do you feel?
The way I feel is I would lean towards they are victims. They were sexually molested by their dad. They were raised in that. They were victims and they snapped, and I do think it would be manslaughter. I don't think you can just go around killing your parents, but I think there's enough evidence there that, especially if other members of Menudo are coming out and saying that it happened to them.
Did you know your guy Ricky Martin was in Menudo?
I did not know that. I did not know that's where he got his start, but he is actually, I don't think he's on record, but somehow he's tied into this and has said that Jose Menendez molested him too.
Oh,
but
wow.
no matter what you feel, the judge fucked them.
Yeah.
And it had to do with OJ. It had to do with, hey, we need a conviction here. The DA up for re-election. To just throw out their whole defense, that can't happen. That's not fair. No matter what.
There's a very long history, detailed history of people getting power and abusing it. And judges have way too much power in our system, especially on the Supreme Court. Yep. Way too much power. That's not right.
But
it ain't right.
Now, it's time for this.
It's weird and wild. Let's see what's coming down the wire in the News Bender with pedestrian news fella, strip mall Steve Shackelford.
I'm here at the news desk. Happy to see you. Oh, this is awkward. Oh, skin.
Dude, what are you doing, man? It's not even time for that. Why are you doing that?
My furnace is out, so I have to do this. I feel like it's freezing in here. East Side Allen's much colder, I feel like, than the West Side, but you might be experiencing the same thing.
Don't you have an old school furnace that you have to shovel charcoal into?
Oh, I love shoveling coal. And don't look that up on Urban Dictionary.
Oh!
All right, gentlemen. Lots of important news to get to today, so we're going to start right here. Say goodbye to X-rays and MRIs. The yellow dye in Cheetos can make your skin transparent. That's right, a new study revealed that a common food dye, tartrazine, which gives Cheetos their signature color, can make the skin of a shaved mouse temporarily transparent.
A shaved mouse?
That's right. If you shave the hair off a mouse and apply this dye, you can observe internal organs in real time, eliminating the need for old school photos and fancy MRIs. No, just apply some dye and have at it.
Wow. So there's not going to be any more mice MRI ever again.
They're done.
This is incredible graphic work again. And I'm trying to figure out what's happening here. Is a naked, translucent guy, did he just enter the discussion? Like,
What do you mean by enter?
that's what I mean. And it looks as if there's a shocking surprise. Look at the facial expression of the guy. The guy in the back's on a mission.
And the guy in the front will not stop eating Cheetos no matter how scared he is.
And where is that guy? Look at his left arm. Are his hands on the guy's hips?
You bet they are. You hope they are.
Is that how he's obviously not looking into a mirror, and that is how he knows the presence of that guy, who I think is wearing suntan goggles. I can't really tell.
Yeah. Okay, so I would predict this: if if this is real and people find out, okay, this dye in Cheetos can make your skin translucent, I think it will not stop Cheeto consumption in any way.
No, they're amazing.
Yes, the FDA said it's still safe for consumption, so no issues there. No negative side effects in the mice so far either, so we'll see. Not yet ready for human use, but it'll get there.
That's an important story. Way to get us going, Steve.
That's right. All right, in other stories, an employment tribunal in London ruled that calling women birds at work could be considered sexual harassment.
What?
Oh,
That's right. This is tailor-made for you here, Skin. Yes, unfortunately, the judgment came in the case of an investment firm which has been ordered to pay over $65,000 in compensation to a female staff member who complained that her colleagues were calling women birds. Apparently, the term dates back to the Middle Ages, and a judge concluded it is derogatory.
All right, before we get to that important topic, let's describe what's going on in here, Ben. What do you see?
Okay, so there are construction workers, but with hard hats and blueprints and orange vests, right? You know, the construction workers they're at the desks. The guys in suits are not sitting at the desks. One is standing through a table yelling to another guy. And the pigeon, there's massive pigeons that are in the mix there too, almost like they're listening and a part of the conversation. But none of the four guys are worried about the enormous pigeons.
No, they're not. And I can't. So that's the job site they're at, right?
Yeah, it's got to be the job site, temporary desks, and
it's a lot like iHeart, where they moved in furniture before they were done.
yeah. And look at the orange hard hat that's just sitting there in the middle.
Okay, I thought that was a basketball. I didn't know what that was.
And why are there identical briefcases there? This is like seeing a cat twice in the Matrix. This is how you know it's fake. But and maybe you know because the guy's standing through a table.
Is that guy yelling, "Holy shit, there's giant pigeons in here"?
I like his eyeballs. He's like, ah, ah.
And then
But
the other guy's like, "Fuck you, quit talking about these pigeons." Like, that guy's pissed. Look at his stance.
He is saying fuck you. But you're distracting here from the point that you are a sexist son of a bitch who calls women birds.
Well, I'm British. I grew up over there in Leeds, and that's just what my pappy taught me. Birds is a funny term. Dames is a funny term.
Yeah.
How do we feel about gal?
Well, I like gal. I like broads, too. I like calling them broads.
I don't think women like any of these things.
What?
What
They're
about-
terms of endearment.
Battle axe? Is that still used?
I've heard that one before.
Okay, I did ask the waiter the other night at dinner. It was a family dinner. There was 5 of us at a restaurant. I'm not going to name the restaurant. And we did ask the waiter, would you rather fight 1 elephant-sized duck or 10 duck-sized elephants? And this picture is kind of reminding me of that. What would you rather fight?
1 elephant-sized duck or 10 duck-sized elephants?
Yeah.
I don't think either of them are the fighting type, really. But I think I don't want to fight anything the size of an elephant.
It's tough because elephants never forget. And so if they get together and have a strategy, they won't forget it. They'll implement it. It's like the opposite of a Mike McCarthy team. So you've got 10 creatures, even though they're duck size, with those tusks, and they're coming at you from all angles. Meanwhile, there's one big giant duck that you're trying to figure out what to do. Maybe you sweep the leg. I don't know.
A duck-sized elephant is just like a field goal attempt. It's set up on those little legs like it's on a tee, and you can just kick it. You don't even have to worry about them.
Okay. I've seen a lot of guys in that situation, and while they're trying to kick one elephant, another elephant is jabbing them in the Achilles from behind. So that's fine if that's what you want in your life.
Yep.
Good job, Steve.
That's right. All right, moving on. In other news.
Hold on.
Oh, please. Oh, God.
Oh my God! Look at that picture. Kevin Luong said "ball and chain." That's definitely something that women like to be called. The old ball and chain.
They love that.
Yeah.
All right, gentlemen. What is ghost poop, and why are health experts warning you what to do if you encounter one? Well, apparently they're advising people to keep an eye out for ghost poop because this is a term used to describe when one stool sinks to the bottom of the toilet and seemingly vanishes without a trace. This without a trace also includes the absence of evidence when you wipe. And experts say this is a scary good sign. It's the healthiest bowel movement of possible. Possible.
Yeah. This, again, is a phenomenal graphic. And I can't tell. First of all, the ghost who's grabbing the toilet on the right side. Mm-hmm. First of all, those ghosts are wearing ties. Somehow. Professional ghosts. And that guy has multiple legs. Yep. And the AI decided that it also just needs a couple boots sitting around.
Some guy pooped so hard he pooped right out of his boots.
And what the guy in the back? What is he doing with his hand? Is he trying to catch an earpiece? Is he like gingerly touching his thumb to his chin?
He looks to me like the way he's dressed and the way he's behaving, he's 1940s reporter man, but his beard does not suggest that.
Mm. Yeah.
He's just trying to get a good ghost poop scoop if he's a reporter there.
What an amazing picture.
And the briefcase, there is weird. The way that AI feels about briefcases, they just think it's a huge mystery. They're fascinated. Those computers are fascinated by briefcases.
Okay, so and what the hell is that on the floor? Maybe we need Freak Jesus Carey because he knows plumbing to tell us. Which it's weird to have a toilet in the middle of that office.
That's true. I forgot about that.
What is that thing behind that toilet paper roll? It's like a snail something. What is that?
Yeah, it does look like a weird snail head.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think this is a problem in the world. I'm shocked that they're spending time. And I don't blame the messenger here for bringing this important story to us, but I'm shocked that this is a story. Ghost poop, it's just dissolving, and that's a problem?
No, apparently it's a good thing. They want you to keep an eye out for it. But if it happens all the time, it might be a concern because then you can't get a good look at the size, color, and consistency of your poop. So if it's floating all the way down and you'd never see it, you might want to figure out something to do to get some more floaters in there. But if you've got floaters all the time, that's also an issue. That means you're lacking fiber. You want more heavier, dense stool.
Yeah, but I thought that's what a ghost poop would be because it's really an anchor poop. It's such a heavy lead poop. It just goes all the way down to the bottom and doesn't even have to be flush. It starts going down the exit ramp there. Like you can't see it. It's just a heavy poop that just drops and goes all the way down. You never see it again, right?
Yes.
My pappy taught me in Wales that ghost poop is a fart.
Oh.
Ah. That makes sense. By the way, Daniel brought up the ghost wipe.
Yeah, that's a way bigger problem, I would think.
Because that is a real trickery moment, dude.
Yes, that's also part of the ghost poop. It goes in concert quite often. Yeah. When it sinks to the bottom, you often get the ghost wipe as well. If you get too many mashed potato wipes, they say contact a doctor.
Oh, no. Is that... Well, you don't want gravy with that. Before you put up the next story, can I make a request?
Absolutely.
Can you put up the story and then me and Ben guess what the story is based on the picture that goes along with it?
Absolutely.
Okay, do that.
All right, gentlemen, what do you think?
All right. That is a cocky lobster with walking around with legs, and it says endless on his shirt. And then the thing on the right is like part lobster, but it's kind of like the torso of it is the tail.
Yeah. Yeah. That one, but it does have. Does it have eyes on the end of that?
I don't think so.
Okay.
And this cocky lobster is like just walking down the middle of the street. This looks like New York City. But those aren't necessarily taxis. Those are just yellow cars.
They're old Oldsmobiles.
There's no non-taxi yellow cars in the world.
Okay, but what about all those people that are following these lobsters but at a safe distance?
Why does he have a shirt on that says endless?
Because he just left a lobster buffet. I think this is some story about Manhattan. Or we'll just say some side street in Greenwich Village ends all lobster buffets.
Yes, fascinating.
What do you got?
Unfortunately, Red Lobster's new CEO admits endless shrimp deal definitely stressed out their workers. Apparently it first launched in 2004 for just 1 week. And then if you remember last year in May of 2023, they said, you know what? Let's just do endless shrimp all the time. And by the end of the year, they'd lost $20 million and had to close 100 locations due to filing for bankruptcy. So now they have a new CEO. It's the guy from P.F. Chang's, apparently. And he says, you know what? I don't know that we're ever going to bring it back. It just caused too much stress and chaos. So the endless shrimp took down Red Lobster.
That reminds me that the other day, my wife randomly said, you know, we forget about P.F. Chang's. And I agreed with her.
Yeah. That's a
forget
great
about
comment.
it.
I will let you know this right now. P.F. Chang's is legit.
It is. I'm with you, Ben. All right, Steve, you got to go now. Bye. Nope.
Okay. Yeah, I think he was saying I have tons more.
No, he doesn't. He needs to reprioritize. What an incredible news run from Steve, though. He's really bringing that heat.
Yeah, and to the AI component is fascinating, dude. That guy's he's gonna win a sports Emmy.
Absolutely. Or he can just have one of mine.
Yeah. But right now it's time for this.
Or is it?
Oh yeah, scroll patrol. Yeah, Ben's on a scrolling roll, looking at big booties, mukbang and liver king. There's toots and snake boots. Yeah, everybody's cutting some toots. Yeah, it's scroll patrol. What is it? I just said it's scroll patrol. Patrol.
I love that intro. All right, the Scroll Patrol is where I take our viewers and skin through my internet dealings, and I have a strange relationship with the internet. I've worked hard to get the algorithm that I have, and that will come back into play. You'll see somebody else comment similarly, but I stumble across some of the weirdest shit out there, and I try to send it to my friends, but they won't look at it because they don't want to taint their own algorithm.
Yep.
So this is a chance for Skin to wear an internet condom and still enjoy the content that I'm having sex with on the internet, so to speak, right?
It's like me. I'm Chauncey Gardner from Being There. I like to watch.
Yeah.
So I just do it from a safe distance.
Okay, good. This guy, okay, that is Harley Quinn. It's a Harley Quinn doll, okay? And this guy...
Okay, I see that.
It's a Harley Quinn doll. And this guy, I guess, and we need sound on all of these, Jason, but listen to the way he's talking to Harley Quinn.
I can always guarantee is you're going to get a fart to the face every morning that I wake up because you happen to be at the right place at the right time. And today I'm giving you what I call the Satan fart. I'm in that kind of mood, Harley. You're getting the Satan fart. Why have I named it that? Because it's going to be vile, delicious, disgusting, and beautiful. And you're going to get it all over your face. I can't wait. One thing.
He ran out of content and then was like, oh, I should probably still talk.
Yeah.
That person should not be allowed to have sex. What is going on there? Had you seen him before?
No, never seen him. I don't know why. Like he's putting that sweet doll through hell. All right, what else do we have, Jason?
Don't.
Jason. Okay,
Oh,
is
this a Diddy party?
This is a trend. This is a trend. You've probably seen this trend on the internet. But what I really want you to do is pay attention to the way the mother laughs. Okay.
Okay.
Alexis, give me my money!
You've seen this, right?
Give me my money.
No.
Give me my money!
Give me my money.
Did they slow that down?
No. So that's it. That whole bit is a trend. I even saw the Mavericks do this the other day. Like you get 4 people together. You don't tell one of the people what you're doing, and you're like, "Hey, this is for good luck." Just say, "Give me my money," and everybody clap. But then you lay out on the 4th person.
Okay.
And that's just a trend. It's all over the place. But this mom laughing, it sounded like a buzzsaw.
It did. It sounded crazy. Can you go back right quick, Jason? There was something else that's very important. Why is David Lee Roth trending? Look at what happens over to the right.
Yes, you're right. Hey, Jason, skip that next one because there is music on that one. I forgot to tell you that. So we're going to skip that dude looking there. Okay, now. This is one of my favorite comments I've seen in a long time.
Okay.
Look at this comment by J Pope 83. He says, "This is the genie that comes out when you rub a can of Axe body spray." Okay, go ahead.
Does that say Godspeed?
I've always been the fucking best. I always will be the fucking best. In a past life, in this life, and in the fucking next. You're looking at the fucking best. Try it.
Yeah, dude. Isn't that a great comment?
Yeah, that is amazing. What is does that I'm looking at the hashtag shit over it. So is this guy the Unruly 22? Is that who it is?
I don't know, man. I don't know. Like anyone could ever know that. I think you're right. I think it is.
Got all those hashtags in there like he's trying to appeal to whoever Seth Rollins is.
He's the best. All right, keep it going, Jason.
That guy looks like he used to be in Menudo, by the way.
This is a classic. I've seen this one for you. Have you ever seen slap fighting?
Yeah. I've seen it competitively. I've never seen it out in a dirt field like this.
No, not like slapping each other in the face.
Oh, okay.
Is that playing for you?
Yeah, it's kind of choppy.
All right, bail on that one. That one's choppy, Jason.
Shout out to Choppy, by the way.
Yeah, shout out to RJ Choppy.
I got a message this morning in my IG, in my DM, that Sean was taking a shot at the Freak. And I was like, man, that station's been gone for 9 months. He may need to worry about what the ticket is doing to him.
Right. I don't understand that. I don't understand.
Fine, whatever.
A lot of people cape for management and radio, and that never works out. I don't know.
Shout out Choppy, though.
Yeah, I love Choppy. All right, see what we got here. See if this will play.
I miss you. Miss you. Miss you. Baby. Baby. Baby.
Yeah.
Okay, you finally brought something amazing.
Mm-hmm.
What? This guy is dope. Can we watch that again?
I
The
miss
music
you.
is choice.
Miss you. Miss you. Baby. Baby. Baby.
That guy's amazing. That's Hussy Genia Lamales 2019.
All right.
Have you seen his work before?
No, never seen it before, but I liked the sincerity. I liked what he was going for there.
I
All
liked
right.
that not a single person had commented on it.
Check
That's
this
amazing.
out. Yeah, like how does that show up on my algorithm, right?
I don't know.
Check this out.
Oh, God.
I mean, what is that? Acid? Is that Boone's Farm?
Yeah, I thought it was just like box wine.
Dude,
What is that creature? Is that a centipede?
I think it's a centipede. Dude, that is disgusting.
We got to know what's in that wine glass, dude.
Right? Comments were not helpful.
No, I like the guy that said excellent.
All right. Keep it going.
I think that's hot oil.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Maybe.
Why is it in a wine glass?
Right. She wanted to show off the centipede.
Oh,
All right,
hell
here
yeah.
we go. Speaking of bugs.
Oh, man. Oh, it's going to make me gag. I'm with Ob N, who says, please hide the thread.
All right, keep it going.
Are those pig balls?
That dude's eating baby chickens.
Oh,
All right, keep it going.
that is not nice.
Keep it going. All right. This is the one I really want you to see. All right. She's eating live spiders.
Okay. Yeah, that's testing my gag reflex a little bit, man.
Isn't that disgusting?
And she's going with the thumbs up. Hey, play it again. There's some weird subliminal thing that pops up to the right early on in it. Okay, I totally get what she's saying. I wonder what that dress is doing. Yep. I don't disagree with her.
She can dip it in that salsa.
Oh, yeah, that'll make it good.
I mean,
Okay, watch for the subliminal thing. There's something that pops up that's really strange. Ugh.
ooh.
It makes me want to vomit.
Oh! I think is there one more? The elephant is the elephant the last one?
Is it a duck-sized elephant?
It's an elephant-sized elephant. Okay.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Here we go. Enjoy this. This is a grand finale.
Okay. Oh, no.
มัวแต่คลิปแต่บนโต๊ะหมดแล้ว
Oh, that is not what I wanted to see. Although I have to admit, that dress really classes it up. She did her hair for this. God, they come out really solid. Those must be ghost poops that float all the way down the toilet without flushing. These people are saying she does it because of coffee. Did you see that over to the side?
Is that right? You're making elephant poop coffee?
I guess.
Yeah.
Man, thanks, dude. It's 11:05. I'm ready for lunch now, Ben.
Yeah, I just wanted to share the internet with you guys. That is the correct way to use it. And now, as we wrap this thing up,
Yep.
you have lots of fascinating things going on in the world of music, and this is a great place to let everybody know what you got cooking.
Yeah, I'll make this super quick. I am a co-owner of a record label called Skylark Soul Company. And we got several things going on. And I want to show everybody this quick video. Jason can play it with sound. Our friend Paul Schalda of Paul and the Tall Trees and Lost Lows and the Shaldas.
Go easy, go easy.
I thought, oh, it'd be pretty cool to just grab a track from certain records that I've put out over the past 20 years and do that thing again, you know, kind of get that feeling back again. There's a love there. There's a joy with everyone in the room playing the music. I hope you can see and feel how grateful I am to be able to do this still with the people I love.
That's just a little teaser for a video that's over on YouTube of Paul Schalda live at Niles City Sound. Niles City is a badass studio in Fort Worth, and it's where the first Leon Bridges record was recorded. There's been a lot of great records recorded there. And so Paul went in there. You saw his dad was the older feller there. And then he had a couple of musicians from Staten Island that came down. And then he had some locals. That's a couple, Kevin and Becky. Kevin on piano, and Becky sings backup and plays violin. But anyways, it's a cool little 18-minute concert film if you want to go check it out. Paul Schalda live at Niles City Sound. It's at an awesome studio, and it's on just go to the you can go to the Skylark Soul Company Instagram page, but also if you go to on the bio and the link, if you go to the Skylark Soul Company Instagram page, you can click there and then it'll take you right there. But it's a nice little, we've had Paul play at the brewery before with his dad. He traveled the world with Charles Bradley. Rest in peace to the great Charles Bradley. If you've ever seen the show Barry, the theme song at the beginning of Barry is a Charles Bradley song. But that's worth your time. It's a really good little film. You like Paul's music, don't you?
I love Paul's music, and I love Paul. I love his family. One of the sweetest guys ever. And if somebody could put the link in the comments, that would be great, so everybody can go check that out and go find it.
Yeah, and then I got a couple more quick things. You saw the documentary Bastards of Soul.
Yes.
What would you say about that?
It was incredibly moving. It was so powerful to see. First of all, it was brilliant music, but then to lose the lead singer, to have him lose his life in the middle of all that, incredibly powerful and moving. And I know that's heavy for everybody like you that's involved in that, but I'm just so grateful that it was shared, because I think for Chadwick, his legacy goes on. Like, his family can go back and look at this now, and I think it lives forever with that. So, phenomenal film.
Yeah, I was Paul Levatino is an old buddy of Chadwick's. They grew up together, and he directed it. And actually, the guy who shot that Paul Schalda film, my buddy Zach, he was involved in editing the Bastards of Soul movie. But anyway, so what happens with small little films is, if you're lucky, you can get them into film festivals. And so Bastards of Soul, I think, has now been in 6 film festivals. But last weekend, it won Best Documentary at the Catalina Film Festival.
Go. The wine mixer.
We made our whole nut, dude.
Okay.
It was unbelievable.
So it won the whole festival?
It won Best Documentary at the festival.
Let's go.
And then coming up the weekend of the 28th of October, it'll be, or 27th or whatever that date is, it'll be at the Newport Beach Film Festival, which is the biggest one it's been in so far. So people are actually getting to see it, and so that's a really neat thing. And I think eventually it'll be available for distribution and streaming and all that. That seems to be coming along well. So I wanted to give a shout out to Paul Levatino and all the good Bastards of Soul folks. And then finally, I don't know when it's going to be announced, but just mark your calendars right now for November 7th in Fort Worth. It's a Thursday night, November the 7th in Fort Worth. It'll be announced sometime in the next week or so, but it'll be something that I think a lot of you will want to go check out. I'm just going to leave that at that, and then we'll bring more details to you in the coming week. So just put it on your calendar right now, November 7th, Thursday, Fort Worth.
Okay. And no other teas, no other
Nope.
what it is.
It might involve some music that me and Danny are involved in. It might.
Oh, okay.
It might. I'll leave that tease there.
Okay.
So there you go. I just wanted to, we have this Super Soaker, and a lot of the people that tune in like some of the music. So I just wanted to use this platform to tell you, here's what's going on and more things are coming.
Okay. Hell yeah. Well, that's going to do it for today's Super Soaker, and we have this thing called the Complete Fun Package, and if you're not signed up for it, what are you doing? We'd love it if somebody would put that link in the comments as well. It's kind of like our listener loyalty program, and it's a way for us to stay in touch with you. We'll send you emails. We're not going to spam you, but let you know kind of what we got going, exclusive content sent directly to you, and a heads up on a lot of the things that we got cooking. And just for signing up for it and giving us your email address, answer like 2 questions. It takes about 30 seconds. You'll be entered to win lots of different things, like a big screen TV, a laptop, tickets to sporting events and concerts, and we do meet and greets. And so last April we gave away a meet and greet with Luca. who will we do the next meet and greet with, and would you want to win that? It's pretty cool. So be sure to sign up for the complete fun package. It's free, takes 30 seconds, and we sure would appreciate it. And with regard to this, this is kind of new to us, the idea of putting our content out on YouTube. So we appreciate every single comment, share, like, tell your friends about it. We certainly appreciate it as we try to grow this show. Anything else you want to say?
No, I love it. You nailed it. Thanks for being a part of the community, and we are going to be doing some really cool things. Spread the word.
This has been another Iron Balls production.
Iron Balls!